A bit more than half a decade ago, the whole world has lost one of the most important musicians that had ever lived. What if I tell you that he was a DJ and that this musician was composing music for YouTube Rewind and also made the song for the World Cup? His name is Tim Bergling, or as many people know him, Avicii. Now, Avicii was born in 1989, and at first, he wasn't really that interested in music. But at the age of either 12 or 6, at the age of 12, his older half brother decided to invite him to a club where he first heard the music that DJs had made, and he really was inspired by them, and so he decides to become a musician. At first, his music was not very notable by many people, and he tried to gain attention in forums, and it kind of worked. His first songs were mostly remixes, and that would be obvious because remixes would kind of be, as Russians would say, "пробы пера," which means an attempt with pen. So it means trial. It was kind of his an attempt at him to make the music. His first hit would be released in 2011. We all know the song "Levels." Oh, what a song it was! It was a pretty popular song that has almost, if not actual, 1 billion views. This song is pretty interesting. I mean, that it was also partly a mix of I've got a feeling, or whatever it was called, and Avicii started to become more popular and more popular. Then in 2012, he decided to release several songs like Silhouettes, and my favorite song was released one day before the release of The Great Garden, pretty much 2 days after Christmas. I Could Be the One. Oh, how many radio stations were making the remixes of the song in 2013? Especially, I remember in taxis, even in shopping mall in Himki, where I used to live there. I used to live near there until 2013. But yeah, Avicii started to become popular. And in 2013, he only became more popular by releasing singles like Hey Brother, Tun Tun Tun, Tu Tu Tun Tun Tun, Tu 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 Tun, Tu 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 Tun, Tu 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 Tun. It kind of sounds to me like a military song that would be sang by American soldiers, and really had that vibe, which was really cool. And Hey Brother, that sounded more like a country song. That would be very cool at celebrations. And local celebration with your friends and a pickup truck. And Addicted to You, which really sounded like a classical song from the 1930s or 20s mixed with the modern instruments. And it even had a music video from the 1920s that touched on LGBT themes. That song also was popular. In 2013, on October 9th of 2013, a month after release of GTA 5, he released his first album called True. And that album would be and some of the songs from the album would be nominated for the Grammy, eventually losing out to Skrillex. No, I think either he lost to Skrillex or lost to Zed. I'm not sure. But for sure I know that he did not win the Grammy, nor he would win in 2015. In 2014 he would release the Night song. And that song would get 1 billion views, despite not being featured only on extended play the days and nights. And in 2015, he would eventually start releasing a lot of great songs. Waiting for Love, which was about a man an old man who was kind of living a bad life, like in the movie Up. Kind of feel to me a live action interpretation of the Up without the balloons and flying home. And the old man now lives a happier, kind of like a happier life. I really like that song. And then he released a song For a Better Day. This song is some people call a reason why Avicii kind of killed himself, because the song was against human trafficking and it motivated people to have a better day and to protect themselves from such bad people that cause harm to children, which is very important. And then he released a song Broken Arrows athlete whom about a story of an athlete who had hard times before becoming a successful Olympian. But I also remember the song that was released on the same day as album. If I remember it was City Lights with Nuni Bao. That song really was cool, and I always enjoyed listening to the song and listening to it. City's lights take me away. It was going on like that. But yeah, that album was released in 2015. It was called Stories. I like that album. And it was kind of an improvement from in my opinion, it was an improvement from the previous album because it was more electronic and was more energizing. So, yes. In 2016, he already released the song Taste the Feeling. Oh, and I also forgot that in 2014, he made a song that was dedicated to the World Cup together with other people, and it was released as part of the World Cup album. And in 2016, he would also release a song that would be associated with sports called Taste the Feeling, even though the song was made for Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was an important sponsor for the Rio Olympics and the Euro 2016, two biggest competitions for the most important events, the Rio Olympics and the Euro 2016 in France, where for the first time Ronaldo would win his trophy but not become an MVP. And after 2016 concert in Spain, in Ibiza, he retires from the concerts due to being depressed. In 2017, however, he'll release several songs as part of his extended play Avicii 00, Avicii 01. And with Ella Goulding, he would release the song Lonely Together. No, it was with Rita Ora. It was with Rita Ora, I'm sorry. Lonely Together as part of his extended play. And that extended play kind of garnered a bit of criticism because it was a departure from the Avicii's work. And he promised to release another album and two extended plays. But that didn't happen because on April 20th of 2018, Avicii committed suicide while being in Oman, Muscat. In the country of Oman, in its capital of Muscat. And many people were mourning his death because he was such an important DJ. He was about to turn 29 that year. And many people were still shocked because he was an important DJ. Like, what could stop him? And after that, many people started wondering whether or not suicide was true or not. And soon, a lot of people started to listen and re-listen to Avicii and started to help on him finishing the last works that he was supposed to release. In 2019, there will be several Avicii songs that will be released after his death, such as Save Our Ship, Sauce, and Heaven, which was made together with Chris Martin of Coldplay, even though there is a version that sounded like Waiting for Love because it has the same vocalist, the Simon Aldred. But the producers decided to use the earlier version from 2014 because that's how Avicii wanted. And so on July 10th or August 10th, I think it was released somewhere in summer of 2019, the final album of Avicii called Tim would be released in honor of him. And all the proceeds from the bought album will not go to family, but rather to a foundation that was founded by his family called Tim Bergling Foundation, which is focused on things like preventing suicide, but also now focus on other things like climate change and helping small businesses. And that album was gone quite popular for a while, and there will be several singles released after the release of the album. And in conclusion, Avicii was an important musician that was very popular at that time. The reason why I listen to his songs to this day is because Avicii is making songs that are never getting outdated. EDM in general never gets outdated, unlike rap or rock. I mean, rock sounds cool, I'll admit that. But EDM, because it's not very hard to make, and because the EDM uses a lot of futuristic musical instruments. I mean, not physical musical instruments, but rather the virtual ones that sound futuristic. And that's the reason why a lot of EDM artists peaked in 2010. Not only Avicii, but Zedd, Swedish House Mafia, Martin Garrix, a lot of musicians from NCS in the early 2014 and 15 and 16 era. And that's why a lot of people still enjoy the EDM. But anyways, let's remember Avicii, and let's remember how important he was. I love you, Avicii. I love your songs, and I will always remember you. You were one of the most important people that I've ever was interested about. I always enjoyed listening to your songs in 2012, 13. And after finding you again in 2022, I really got happy about it, because that was a gulp of fresh air after so many bland and insipid songs that I've heard on radio stations and Spotify and Apple Music and on YouTube that were trending. Thank you for memories. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.